Good afternoon, everybody. Very sorry to start the show off with Sam Harris, but we're doing it. The heck? That's not the way I want to go with this. Let me do that again. Very sorry to start the show off with Sam Harris, but we're doing it. Now we play the video.
Ben, you can't use a phrase like no less dangerous. Hillary Clinton conceded in 24 hours. That is less dangerous than this continuous provocation.
Sam,
I just
disagree with you. I think that the attempt by members of the media, by Hillary Clinton, who herself said that Donald Trump was illegitimately elected based on Russian interference in the 2016 election, was highly damaging.
How long did she say that for? How long did she say that for? Does she still say that?
I mean, she will. Yes, actually, she will still claim openly that there was manipulation that took place during that is true. There was manipulation during the 2016 election.
No, it's what she says. The same thing to say is that there is continuous foreign interference in our elections, right? I mean,
that's the double standard, Sam. Now you're proposing a double standard.
When
Hillary says it, it's totally settled and fine. And when Trump says it in the most obvious, foolish way, then it's totally different.
I would say to the average liberal who...
All right, that was a clip that Ruben posted on his show. I'll bring my face back now. I don't know Sam Harris from a hole in the wall. I only know that he is about as dumb as the hole in the wall. Take this out of here. I ribbed on Sam Harris many times in Twitter. Because the guy has been an idiot. As long as I've known of his name, he's been the most unhinged, moronic idiot on the face of the planet. The only thing that he does well, maybe Viva doesn't do it so well. Viva talks too fast and he's too excitable. Sam Harris, he really sits back and he has his nose up, and he has a nasally voice and he manages to say absolute stupidity, but in a way that employs highly eloquent terminology that makes him sound smart while being an absolute idiot. Do you remember all of the insanity of Sam Harris? His anti-Trump rants. What did I nail him on? I was texting friends and family about this, and when he went unhinged about the vaccine. Actually, if the vaccine were more effective and we were dealing with a virus that were more toxic and that actually only affected children disproportionately and the vaccine had no side effects whatsoever, well, then surely you would support vaccine mandates. And I was like, Sam, thank you for changing all of the variables of the reality in which we live. But I remember Sam Harris. I was like, oh, you should listen to Sam Harris. He's very smart. And the only experience I've ever had with him has been that of the most unhinged lunatic on earth. Oh, yeah, Trump, when he had a portion of his book talking about how Trump walking through the desert. Crazy. But he comes out and in an intelligent presentation says the most absolutely stupid things on the face of the planet. Hillary conceded in 24 hours. Sam, the words I concede followed by 4 years of Russiagate hoax investigations is not a concession. And I have this fight this disagreement with people all the time where they say Trump did not engage in a peaceful transfer of power, but Obama did. Now, first of all, bullshit on both sides. Trump was well within his rights, as did pretty much every losing candidate for the last 4 decades, to challenge or to question the results of what many feel to be, and I would say rightly, a very questionable election. Anyone who says 2020 was clean and kosher, you're idiots. Because if for only one reason, which is an admitted fact, the wrongful concealment, suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story, and the wrongful, dishonest lie from those intelligence officials that it bore the earmarks of a Russian intelligence operation, that alone potentially swayed the election. Now, I don't even need to go potentially swayed. That had an impact on the election. We don't know if it would have been determinate or not, but it had an impact on the election. Therefore, it is an accepted fact that if all we agree upon is the Hunter Biden laptop suppression, then there was interference in it. Whether or not it would have been determinate, you can argue hypotheticals of things that never happened. It had an impact, period. But to say that Trump interfered with the peaceful transfer of power is a bold-faced lie. What we know about January 6th, I'll call it a Fedsurrection. It had no impact on the transfer of power. Such a wild insurrection that they managed to certify the vote by 8 o'clock that night. Frickin' AOC pretending that she was scared of getting sexually assaulted when she wasn't even at the Capitol. And I made the joke, the likelihood of her having sexual issues is probably increased tenfold by virtue of the company that she keeps, that being Democrat politicians. Trump had absolutely no impact on any compromised peaceful transfer of power. To the contrary, they were saying unless he went to the inauguration, unless he licked Joe Biden's boot, he was interfering with the peaceful transfer of power. So bullcrap on that. Go to Obama and the peaceful transfer of power to Trump. It was the most insidious form of political violence imaginable. I've said it many times and I won't belabor the point, but when you get unlawful spy warrants based on falsified evidence in secret courts, to then spy on the transition team of the incoming candidate, to then fabricate a Russiagate hoax to undermine his duly elected presidency for the next 4 years, you have not had a peaceful transfer of power. You have had actually one of the most politically violent transfers of power. It's like, oh, well, it wasn't, nobody got punched in the face, right? There's forms of political violence, and I don't call someone trying to blow Trump's head off political violence. That's actual physical violence. Political violence is weaponizing the levers of justice to wrongly investigate your political rival, to undermine their election and disenfranchise the 50, whatever, how many was it at that time? Let's just say 50% of the population that voted for them. So it false all around, and Sam Harris is just a buffoon. Now, why he doesn't come on my channel to have the discussion, I think I know. I'm not as polite as Ben Shapiro. I might have ribbed Mike, what's his name, Sam Harris, a little bit too hard on Twitter because he blocked me before he fled the open platform that is Twitter. Sam Harris is the intellectual fraud of a lifetime. He's an intellectual coward, blocking people while he's still on the platform and then leaving because he can only feel comfortable in his delusional intellectual silo, which is actually devoid of intellect. I saw that clip and I'm like, holy crab apples. My brother sends it to me. I was like, oh, Sam Harris is up to his usual stupidity again. It's been a while since I've heard from him. Well, you see, if the vaccine were totally safe and had no possible adverse effects, and the virus was 10 times worse and only hit the cutest of the little babies, well, then sure. Thanks, Sam. You're an idiot. This is what people pay you for? Holy sweet, merciful goodness. People, good afternoon. How goes the battle? Let me crack my knuckles. Oh, yeah, crack my elbows. Oh, that hurt. We've got some updates. We've got some news. We've got some election controversies. We've got leaked passwords. We've got extended deadlines. We've got, I don't know, apparently compromised glitches in voting machines, which may not have an impact on the vote, but just rather how you do it. We've got Joe Biden and the Biden administration. I can't even say Joe Biden is falsifying presidential records at this point because the dude doesn't know where he is. Someone is. And it looks like there's a select committee of, Congressional Oversight Committee that's looking into it and suggesting that the Biden administration may have broken the Presidential Records Act law by falsifying evidence of Joe Biden's garbage remark. Now, I should have double-checked that we're live all across the various planes of the interwebs. Okay, I'm live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We are live on Rumble. And I'm going to remember to end, we're going to end this at 1 o'clock on YouTube and come over to the Rumble tubes. Let me refresh here. It looks like we're good, but just got to refresh and... okay, good. Do I see my ugly face? Hold on. There we go. I do see it. I hear my ugly voice or my beautiful voice through the sure. And I see it on CommieTube. So we got some good stuff to talk about today. And we're going to get into it. Now, might have some good guests coming up. Tomorrow's show might be a little bit late because I might be hosting the Unusual Suspects again. Who watched it? Let me know in the chat, people. I am absolutely not fishing for compliments. And I'm not looking for pity. I hosted the Unusual Suspects because Vinny Oshana, who typically hosts, was at the World Series baseball game in New York where the Dodgers beat the Yankees in 5? I don't care about sports, and I care less about baseball than any other sport in particular. I'll watch bowling, I'll watch darts, and I'll watch poker. Everything else, boring. So Vinny wasn't hosting. I don't think he's going to be back in time. Let me know what you think of my having hosted. It's at the Unusual Suspects. I think we had a good episode. So I might be late or very late tomorrow. Monday might have a very, very interesting guest. Tuesday, we're going to have a live stream show for the election at night results. Right now, I'm trying to find a way to volunteer to drive veterans to the voting polls who have limited mobility or are unable to get there. I didn't even know there was this thing. It's called the digital. It's called the Disabled American Veterans Society. And I've been DMing and calling, but the voicemail doesn't go anywhere. I've been trying to get there to actually drive people on election day to and from the polling stations if they have a form of a disability or inability to get there. So Tuesday during the day might not be live, but yeah, we're going to do it. Deep breaths, people. Deep breaths. All that to say, that's right. We're going to thank our sponsors of today's show. Some people say I should drink less of it. To them, I say, mind your own damn business. If I want to drink 1775 coffee all day long, I will. If I want to take the leftover 1775 coffee and turn it into the best iced coffee on earth, I will. Did you know that most creamers aren't even made with real cream or dairy? That's right. Your morning coffee is basically a swamp of oils, sugars, thickeners, and enough chemicals to make the FDA blush. Check out what's in those creamers that you see on the shelves that literally last for 50 years. 1775's coffee protein creamer. This stuff is the Patriot's Choice, 10 grams of whey protein. No sugar, no fat, and under 50 calories. It's straight up American fuel for those who don't want to crush their day, and not their health. Fasting, building muscle, preparing for the globalist agenda. 1775's creamer has your back. And if you're serious about coffee, try their new pods. They deliver the same single origin beans in a wonderful, convenient pod type format. Plus, they have a brain-boosting mushroom blend. If you have that in the morning, you'll be sharper than the founding fathers when they created the Constitution. Use promo code VIVA for 15% off and make your mornings as bold as your belief. 1775 coffee, promo code VIVA. It's fantastic. It's delicious. And it actually does, whatever you have left over, does turn into great iced coffee. And they're a Rumble partner, so you are supporting a parallel economy and supporting companies that support you. And 5G Free, second last sponsor of today's show. You know what's worse than getting scammed online? I wouldn't know. I've never been scammed online. Barnes got scammed. That's how he got his Twitter handle hacked a while back. Everyone was making jokes about Barnes at the time because he's a flipping genius. He's a mental encyclopedia. But he opened one email too many, it would seem. Getting your data stolen while you're just walking down the street is a possibility. In 2023, hackers with portable skimmers can swipe your card info from 3 feet away without ever touching your wallet. They don't need a wiretap. They don't even need to falsify evidence to get an unlawful spy warrant. They've got the tech to grab your data while you're waiting for your latte. That's why 5G Free created the RFID blocking wallets. Think of it as an armor for your credit cards. They're not just regular wallets. They block scanners that thieves. They block scanners and thieves, scanners, and the lizard people who use your info online. It's like giving your pocket a digital shield, stopping skimmers, preventing fraud, and keeping your hard-earned money safe. Go to 5gfree.com. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off. Don't let the digital pickpockets get the upper hand. Lock down your data. Stay one step ahead. 5gfree.com. Promo code VIVA for 15% off. What do we start with today? We're going to start with a follow-up on a couple of stories. My McDonald's story. We've got 1 day left, people, for this to be the October surprise. I'll give you an update as to my research online, which, all I've been able to do. Tried to download a facial recognition software, but the one I saw, you had to be a member of a federal agency, and I didn't actually fully appreciate how they could be misused. I didn't even stop for a second to think about the ethics behind AI facial recognition software. But I'm using reverse image search, and that works wonders as well. The other day, the Kamala Harris campaign for Nevada put out a video with an alleged McDonald's manager named Andrea. Name tag was missing half of the M. Shirt had no logo. It was tied at the waist in a manner that did not look like McDonald's attire. She was reading off her phone. You could see at the end of this, she's got the text on her phone that she's reading. And I just I did a little research, and then I said, I question whether or not this woman's a paid actress, and Kamala Harris' campaign is misleading the fact that they're actually passing off as authentic a woman who is a paid actress. And I tagged McD's, I tagged McD's Corp. I got no answer from any of them, not that I'm entitled to it. I just would have thought they would have wanted to answer that and clarify it, if indeed their trademark is being unlawfully used or unauthorized reproduction of their trademark. It's a little known fact about trademark law that you need to protect it, otherwise you lose it. So I've put out the feelers. I called up a company that purportedly manages the locations in Nevada. They said, they're independently franchise owned, so they don't know about that. Couldn't find the specific location, not that I would have wanted to. And got no answer from McDonald's. Okay. What I was able to do is actually find what appears to be a franchise agreement on the interwebs. Let me see where this is here. I got it, a franchise. For those of you who don't know, I've said it a few times. I actually practiced law for well over a decade. And I did a little bit of franchise work. My brother, who I also picked his brain on this, I can disclose him. He's on the internet, Lion Advocacy on Twitter. And he does a lot of franchise law. So I sent him the franchise agreement. We were discussing, whether or not the franchise agreement as drafted prohibits the conduct that we might have seen in the video. And this is not to get anybody in trouble. This is just to determine whether or not it's real. So here we can go back here. Well, this was the video. We don't need to watch the whole thing.
McDonald's.
We don't need to watch the whole
Pretending
thing.
to work at McDonald's and falsely claiming that Vice President Kamala Harris never worked there. It's all a bag of lies. And
Now, this again, like if I'm operating on the confession through projection, the irony of if this person is not an actual employee who starts off her video for the Kamala Harris campaign as pretending to work at McDonald's is a bag of lies. We all know it's a bag of lies. The confession through projection, iron law of woke projection would say that they're lying. I just haven't heard back from the Kamala Harris campaign either. So let's just see here. Let's see a little bit of the reading. Here,
the only
looking
people
down.
Donald Trump cares about are his billionaire donors.
Yeah, looking
he knows
down.
nothing about clocking in, working all day on your feet.
He has no idea
paycheck to paycheck.
He has no idea about working all day.
But Kamala Harris does.
Yeah, she has, oh, there you go. Look at that. Looking at her notes. Now, I know that it's notes, by the way, because at the end, you can actually see her phone in her hand. Where is it? Here? Oh, it's going to give me the spinning wheel of death. It seems to be when you use Twitter in incognito, it seems to give this to you. Anyways, bottom line, you can actually see her reading off her phone towards the end. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is, I just want to know, is she an actress? Or is she a legit employee who's giving a testimonial? Then the question would be, if she is, and this is not to get anybody in trouble, are they allowed doing this? Because I got questions. So I found what I believe to be I don't know if it's the current, but it's appears to be the McDonald's franchise agreement. And what you want to see, people, is what qualifies as a material breach of the franchise agreement. We're not going to go through franchise agreement law today, people. We're not going to go through contract law today. But the most important parts of every contract, the parties, the payment, or the quantum, and the breaches. When are they allowed withholding payment? When are they allowed canceling the contract? Is there a cure period, et cetera, et cetera? You want some old school vlogs, go back to, Viva analyzing Tommy Robinson's contempt back in 2018. This is out of the agreement. It says material breach. The parties agree. Listen to how they draft these things so that they force the little people, and I'm saying that as a almost, tongue in cheek, to get lawyers because they draft it incomprehensibly. The parties agree that the happening of any of the following events shall constitute a material breach of this franchise and violate the essence of franchisees' obligations, and without prejudice to any of its other rights and remedies at law or in equity, McDonald's at its election may terminate this franchise agreement upon the happening of any of the following events. And let's just have a look at a couple here. Franchisee shall fail to maintain and operate the restaurant in good, clean, wholesome manner and in compliance with the standards prescribed by the McDonald's system. Let's take some short ones. Any payment owing to McDonald's is not paid within 30 days after the date such payment is due. Any judgment or judgments aggregating an excess of $5,000 against franchisee or liens, because they want to make sure that someone doesn't come in bankruptcy and snatch up the franchise, and then they are forced now to do business with someone who snatched up a franchise in bankruptcy. Okay, whatever. Go to the end here. Franchisee shall deny McDonald's the right to inspect the restaurant, yada, yada. Okay, here. Oh, franchisee engages in public conduct which reflects materially and unfavorably upon the operation of the restaurant, the reputation of the McDonald's system, or the goodwill associated with McDonald's trademarks. And then there's an exception, provided that engaging in legitimate political activity, including testifying, lobbying, or otherwise attempting to influence legislation, shall not be grounds for termination. So if you're engaging in legitimate political activity, it's not grounds for termination. And the examples of legitimate political activity involve testifying, lobbying, or otherwise attempting to influence legislation. Would this breach? So that is to say, if you engage in political activity that is not legitimate, let's just say, like, firebombing mailboxes. Let's, as by way of example, don't do it. Don't ever break the law, people. That would be grounds for termination. So the question is, would putting out an overtly partisan political ad be grounds for termination? Would that be legitimate political activity because it could be argued that it's attempting to influence legislation or an administration, or would it not be? I don't know. So I don't actually know if under the franchise agreement, it would qualify as a material breach. And again, the issue is not to get the McDonald's in trouble. The issue is to get the Kamala Harris campaign in trouble if they lied. That's my only purpose in all of this, in case it was unclear to anybody. So I got no news. I have not been able to, and so the latest of my internet searches, the reverse image search, and even an AI facial recognition yields no results on the actress, on the woman featured in the video. I found 2 LinkedIn accounts of an Andrea in Nevada that has a manager or some work experience at McDonald's. No images, so I can't tell. The accounts were created. One was created in 2023. The other one was created like 6 months ago in July. Very inactive. Nothing on them except for default avatar and a name, and the only work experience being McDonald's. And that is all. It's still a mystery. It's a conundrum. And I want an answer. So I've tagged the Kamala Harris Nevada campaign just to see. If they're going to lie, let them lie on the record. If they're not going to answer, that might be an indication of something. But we got 1 day left, people, for the October surprise. And if it's limited to being Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage and then falsifying records, presidential records, breaking the law to cover up his gaffe, I guess that would be a pretty good October surprise that would impact the election. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Pasha Moyer in the house at our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community has a picture of me on the chair of the hosting of The Unusual Suspects and says, Viva, it was fun to watch you on The Unusual Suspects yesterday. You did a great job hosting, something I would not have done. And you and the team have had several points to make that I enjoyed. See my comments to your post yesterday for details which don't fit here. Yeah, the issue is like when I'm a solo, I can do whatever the hell I want. I can be as manic as I want. Hosting, I don't want to interrupt too much. I don't want to look like there's no control or no flow. Got to have humor. Thank you very much, Pasha. And then we've got Lord of the Free over on the Humbles. Happy Halloween, Viva and chat. Forever Halloween is out now. A chill song about Halloween and nostalgia, perfect for enjoying the spooky season. Check it out at Long Walks Music on Rumble. You know what I'm going to do right now? Lord of the Ree. We're going to pull it up. If I could do a cut and paste. Long Walks Music. Is it okay? I think it's this one. Hank, is it I Saw the Light? Long Walks Music. Oh, the Forever Halloween. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I want people to actually have to go listen to it. But we're going to do this. Forever Halloween, and we're going to give it 30 seconds. I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty. Oasis, a little bit, but I know it just went to a minor chord. Okay, I'm going to shut my big mouth. Where's my harmonica?
Just this once.
And now we're pausing. I don't want to steal all of it. Everyone, you got the link. Go check it out. Lord of the Ree. It's good. I'm going to keep that up in the backdrop. What was I just talking about? Falsification of records for an October surprise. All right. Okay. They F you at the drive-thru, people. We're going to play the video clip one more time just to refresh everybody's memory so that you don't think you're going crazy. This is Soviet-level Chernobyl level, your babies are not dying in the womb and being born with fishtails, radiation poisoning. It's all in your head level deceit. Joe Biden comes out and, if he was doing it on purpose, well done. Tanks Kamala's campaign in the last week. And apparently there have been reverberations correlated temporally on the betting markets. Whether or not it's causally related to this or not, we'll never know. But we're going to play this one more time, and then we're going to read what might be criminality ensuing.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top.
Can you imagine anybody having the balls to call Trump a failed businessman? Like it's actually an insult to any entrepreneur out there. I've never filed for bankruptcy, touch wood. Every entrepreneur, shouldn't say every. Look up the statistics of the number of entrepreneurs who file for bankruptcy. The amount of people I've represented who are exceedingly wealthy, they've had bankruptcies in their history. I mean, that's what happens when you take chances. The balls and the ignorance that it takes to call Trump a failed businessman. I mean, it looks like this.
He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
I want you to understand a nuance that I actually just picked up on right now.
Garbage.
Here.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage.
A speaker at his rally. You know how they're trying to weasel out of this by adding an apostrophe and referring to it as we'll see it right there. He referred to Hinchcliffe as a speaker at his rally, not a supporter. And so you understand now that even within the context of this 50, it's the lies. So it doesn't require anyone to explain it. He didn't refer to Hinchcliffe as a supporter. So the explanation that they're giving makes zero sense. He referred to Hinchcliffe as a speaker. But you just won't believe how they're trying to weasel out of it. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, but we're going to get into it a little more today because some oversight committee has sent a letter. Look at this. This is the official transcript. I had to find it myself so that no one would accuse me of anything. And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a, quote, floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know that Puerto Rican that I know, or a Puerto Rico where I'm from, in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been. These mother effers are so bloody insidious. It's unbelievable. They're trying to characterize his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable as a continuation of the qualifier for his supporter with an apostrophe. Understand that. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable is a new sentence. It's not a qualifier of his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. But you know what would resolve everything? He was clearly reading off a teleprompter. Can we see the script? Can we see the original? There's metadata. We can know when it was created. We can know when it was modified. They want you to believe that he was referring to Tony Hinchcliffe's demonization of Latinos as being his supporter, where the line before they refer to it as him as a speaker. This is from the website. This is from the current website of these United States of America, the Biden administration. And it's still there. Let's just go here. I got to go garbage. It's still there. Okay. This is fraudulent altering of official records. Period. It is. And now there's a committee. Hold on. Let's get the letter that they sent out. Yeah, check this out. This is from the Oversight Committee. GOP Oversight. Breaking. Biden-Harris may have violated the law by altering the President Biden's garbage remarks in official transcript. House Republican Congress Chairwoman Conference chairwoman Elise Stefanik, Elise Stefanik, she's filed ethics complaints against the nipple judge Engoron out of New York. I believe she's filed one against, I want to say it's either Leticia James, but Elise Stefanik is actually doing some serious legwork out there. And James Comer, they're raising concerns that the Biden-Harris White House may have violated the Presidential Records Act by revising President Biden's remark in which he referred to President Trump supporters as, quote, garbage, end quote. In a letter to the White House, they asked for, to retain all documents, internal communications related to President Biden's statements. Let's look at this because it's fantastic. We can skim through it. We won't go too far. Plus, it's a lot of footnotes. From Mr. Edward Siskel, assistant to the president and White House counsel. In less than 1 week, by the way, this was also drafted to be read by the American people. So this Canadian person is going to read it to the American people and put it on the blast that Elise Stefanik and James Comer wanted it to be on. In less than 1 week, the American people will determine the winner of the 2024 presidential election. They will choose between two candidates, President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. President Biden, marred by unpopular policies, scandal, I love the footnotes, and apparent cognitive deterioration, has chosen not to pursue a second term in office. President Biden, however, has continued to play a prominent role in Vice President Harris's campaign, and indeed is the most powerful mouthpiece, most destructive mouthpiece for the Biden-Harris administration's policies and views that Ms. Harris presumably seeks to continue under her hypothetical Walz administration. Okay. Americans were rightly insulted then when President Biden, seeking to boost Ms. Harris's presidential campaign, referred to an enormous swath of the country as, quote, floating garbage. In reality, however, he said it would have to be like floating garbage because it wasn't. Okay, technically, I guess that's accurate enough. Biden's vindictive words were unsurprising given his previous statements regarding people who choose not to vote for his preferred candidate. Unsurprising, too, were the White House's actions after he said them. Instead of apologizing or clarifying President Biden's words, the White House instead sought to change them, despite them being recorded on video, by releasing a false transcript of his remarks. The move is not only craven, but also appears to be in violation of federal law, including the Presidential Records Act of 1978. Don't delete your shit, people. Let me just get back here because there was a sentence that started. Oh, yeah, they can't rewrite the words, yada, yada, yada. We write to you to get to the second part of this. Can I go like that? No, let's go like right here. We write to you. Demand that the White House retain and preserve all documents and internal communications regarding President Biden's statement and the release of the inaccurate transcript. We also demand that the White House issue a corrected transcript with the accurate words. If you have any questions, yada, yada, yada. Don't delete your SHIT, people. You'll go from falsifying presidential records to destroying them. There was a transcript. He was reading off a teleprompter. There was digital metadata in there that will indicate any changes at all. There will be correspondence, probably along the lines of, WTF, MFers, what did that old man just say? We got to fix this. And then you have some smart-ass intern like, wait a minute. If we just add an apostrophe, you see, nobody can hear an apostrophe. We'll add an apostrophe, and then we'll add a hyphen and pretend that when he said his demonization of Latinos, he was talking about Tony Hinchcliffe and not President Trump. Oh, scum of the earth. And there should be legal repercussions. Bear in mind that they're going after Trump right now for a falsified Presidential Records Act violation. Confession through projection, the iron law of woke projection. Lying about having worked at McDonald's? That might be true of two people now. Kamala and the woman in that video. Violating the Presidential Records Act? That's probably true right now, but not of Trump. Just of crazy Joe Biden, who's also in the news for apparently eating a baby. We'll get there. Jokingly eating a baby. We'll get there. Okay, now Lord of the Ree back in the house. Joe Biden violated the Hatch Act and rules of decorum. Google Joe Biden Rule 34 for more info. Now you know your vlog. Peace out, says Lord of the Ree. I'll check that out. Crash Bandit in the house, $5 over here, says, read the 14th Amendment. There could be a good argument to eliminate birthright citizenship when you read it word for word. Well, forget that part. I mean, the political arguments. Hey, who's talked about abolishing income tax? Nobody's talked about that in 100 years. Doesn't mean you shouldn't talk about it. But I'm thoroughly convinced he broke the law. because it's brazen in your face, telling you that you're totally healthy despite your melting face, and Chernobyl is not a serious thing, and carry on and vote Stalin. Actually, you know what? Speaking of voting Stalin, let's get one that I wasn't planning on bringing up, but I'll bring it up anyhow. We talked about it yesterday, and I think I found the perfect campaign slogan. Well, actually, I used DSLR Dave, the greatest thumbnail man on the planet. And I sent it to DSLR Dave and I said, DSLR, can you put this in some form of thumbnail format? Third, one third, high contrast with the following words in the middle, following Arnie's endorsement of Kamala Harris. Screw your freedom, vote Kamala. That's classic. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, after thorough thought and consideration, decided to endorse Kamala Harris. The man who sat in his jacuzzi smoking a stogie, going for long bike rides on what I'm sure is a $10,000 road bike, comes down after a hard day of COVID lockdown, relaxes in his jacuzzi, smoking his fancy cigars, and says, screw your freedoms, it's not that bad. Look, all you have to do is get in your jacuzzi and your multi-million-dollar mansion in the beautiful California countryside, and it's not so bad, the lockdowns. I don't know how I just turned into a Frenchman, but that's the link, people. Link. Okay, Bo, enjoy it. The Joe Biden eat a baby. Let's. I mean, it's. Do I have the video for that? I mean, the video is going around. I thought I pulled it up. Let me see here. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I got the video of Joe Biden putting a baby's foot in his mouth. I didn't. Hold on. Joe Biden eats baby. I mean, this is also like what you want in search engines right now. Yeah, Joe Biden eating a baby is trending, people. And I will actually be easier on Joe Biden than many of you think I'm going to be right now. I mean, other than it being wildly inappropriate with a baby that is not your grandson, and even then, this is Joe Biden. So this is the image that's going around. That was on my thumbnail. Look, the joke is that the baby's dressed up as a turkey, and these women are bringing their sacrificial babies up to sniffer in chief Joe Biden, and he's doing the same freaking. He does it with 3 different babies, people. But I gotta tell you this. I would say this regardless of who it was. You put your saliva on me. I don't know if you can see. I just got goosebumps because the idea of having. Okay, let me just bring this out here. I'm sure many of you know that I'm neurotic. I'm sure many of you know that I am hypochondriacal. I'm sure many of you know that I'm still fearful of having contracted something from having sat on a public toilet seat back in 1988. I'm joking. Oh, I'm sort of quasi-joking. When you're having a discussion with someone and someone accidentally spits in your face, I mean, just like put you in my head. There's nothing I can think about on earth until I can go disinfect that. I mean, like, not disinfect, like just go clean my face. When I shake someone's hand and then I see that they have a cold, I'm like, my hand becomes like a glowing green aura of contamination. The idea of someone's saliva, if it's not my wife's, and my kids get a pass as well, and my parents, yes, but in that order, a dirty old man's saliva on my baby, I would take that away from him, and I would go burn that Halloween costume. This is the image what you want floating. I mean, between him calling Americans garbage and him eating baby. For reasons. That sock is not clean. Like, Joe Biden, look at that face. The man has no idea what the hell is going on. This might explain why he's had a cold for the last year. Dear God, you stuck a baby's foot in your mouth? Huh? Are you out of your mind? And as the mother, you just put my baby's foot in your mouth? Dude, I don't know where you've been. And if it's anything like where your son has been, I don't want that DNA anywhere near my baby. Now, in fairness, he's just being goofy. The kids are in Halloween costumes being presented to him, and he's just being a crazy old man, getting his saliva and DNA on someone else's baby. Oh. But my goodness, if you're like, he should not be on the campaign trail. He should not be in the White House. And the only question is now, my bet that he resigns and leaves office before the transfer of power. I tell you, it's looking better and better every day. And I think at some point it might not be voluntary. The Kamala Harris, I mean, it's almost too late. What you going to do between now and the 5th? Like, Joe, stay home and don't talk and don't eat babies, please. Don't call Americans garbage. Don't put babies' feet in your mouth. Don't sniff them too close. Respect people's personal spaces. And my God, just stop being you, please. Just for a minute, just stop it. Percussion is king. Just subscribed. Booyah! Percussion is king. Percussion king. Welcome to the channel and our above average law community. VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com. And then we got Cruise Angel. That's Cruise Angel. Cruise Angel. In regards to Trump failed businesses, all home run leaders also have the most strikeouts in baseball. I didn't know that, if that's true as a statistic of baseball. But it's so stupid. I think back to some of my former clients. I mean, I look, first of all, some of them stiffed me on bills. I mean, I don't know. It's the cost of doing business. You don't succeed at 100% of business ventures. And I think you probably succeed at 20% of business ventures. Oh, well, he went bankrupt. Oh my goodness. His idea for a business failed. Hold on one second. What percentage of businesses fail in the first 2 years? 80? I think it's 80%. According to the U.S. Bureau of okay, hold on. No, it's not quite that much. Let me see here. This is from, you have to see my horrible typing. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, probably 20% of new businesses fail within the first 2 years of operation, 45% after 5 years, and 65% after 10 years. And to quote Tyler Durden from Fight Club, on a long enough timeline, all of our survival rate eventually drops to 0. Okay, we're going to get into some more fun stuff. There's another letter coming out of the Oversight Committee. Let me see here. Trump 1 says, Viva, you're probably taller than Ben Shapiro. I can actually tell you, as a matter of fact, I'm not. I ran into Ben at a PragerU event, and he's a good 3 inches taller than me. Like, I think Ben Shapiro. How tall is? I'm going to say he's 5'9". How tall is? He's 5'9" exactly. Dude, look at this. I can identify men who are taller than me. He's substantially taller than me. I'm a very, very short man. Not clinically short. I'm 5'6" with socks and shoes. Good shoes. And we got here, David, I have pretended to eat babies or kids I knew well to get a giggle out of them. I have never done that to a stranger's child. That is creepy and gross, says Denise Antu. Well, it's especially gross because we were literally in a universe where that sleazy old man told us that unless we got vaccinated, we were in for a winter of death and destruction, where they locked us down and alienated us, isolated us from our friends and family for fear of contamination. And now he's putting a foreign baby's foot in his mouth. It's like, it was the ultimate insult to that thing. What were they doing? What school was it where they were licking? I want to say they were licking. It was something disgusting. What school? What was that incident? Where school kids were licking something disgusting, and it had adults involved. Oh no, chat. I'm gonna go over to locals. I need to know what that is. That's. Come on, the story of students were licking something, and then it was at a school event. School event, kids licking. Omaha School shows students licking the licking game. Yeah, licking feet. Oh God. I'm sorry. I remember it was licking feet. And like, in addition to it being, borderline pedophilic, if they were doing it to adults, just overtly disgusting by way of fundraiser, you had just gotten out of a world where we were told if you came within 6 feet of somebody and you were not vaccinated, everyone would die. And then this Joe Biden's like getting his saliva on another person's baby. It's disgusting and it's wrong and it's gross. Okay, we don't need to hang around on that for much longer. But the other story coming out of the Oversight Committee, is it this one? They're going after Cuomo. No, that's Maricopa County. We're going to get to the election stuff after we finish with this one more fun one. Okay, now that's JFK. Here. No. Oh, by the way, just so you all know, I did an official transcript, so these mother effers can just cut and paste from mine. I said it'll be $10,000 because that's the going rate for internet law talking guy these days. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get to the subcommittee. Here we go. We got another select subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. COVID Select. They're going after Cuomo. It's an amazing thing. Cuomo must have done something. Political persona non grata. Eric Adams, he did something. Political persona non grata. And now they're coming after Cuomo for what I said at the time was criminal conduct. In my humble opinion, just so no one, hashtag no defamation. I believe it was criminal negligence because what he did, and others did it, by the way, which is why I like this, because if they go after Cuomo, they're going to go after Rachel Levine. They're going to go after Pennsylvania. You know, Rachel Levine took his mom, out of a nursing home when they were cramming COVID positive patients into nursing homes. It was totally coincidental, though. Evidence suggests Andrew Cuomo knowingly and willfully made materially false statements about the New York's COVID nursing home disaster and the ensuing cover-up. Department of Justice must immediately charge Andrew Cuomo with making false statements. They're not going to, but maybe they will. He's politically unpopular enough. So in furtherance of investigation, the subcommittee interviewed multiple witnesses regarding these topics, including their knowledge of the drafting, editing, and issuance of the July 6 New York State Department of Health report entitled Factors Associated with Nursing Home Infections and Fatalities. Okay. Oh, we could just go here. It's a long thread. Here, let's see. Accordingly, subcommittee detailed referral for criminal charges against Mr. Cuomo pursuant to 18 USC section 1001. 18 USC 1001. Statements or entries generally. So making false statements. Okay. As explained in the attached referral, Mr. Cuomo made multiple continually false statements, including that he was neither involved in the drafting nor the review of the July 6 report. Documents established that these statements to be false. Cuomo also testified that he did not have any discussion about the July 6 report being peer-reviewed. Documents show the statement to be false. Mr. Cuomo testified that he did not know whether the July 6 report was reviewed by persons outside the New York State Department of Health. Documents, again, demonstrate that statement to be false. He provided false statements, yada, yada. But actually, I probably should have read the first paragraph. The Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic is examining the United States response to the COVID-19 pandemic. As part of the broader investigation, the Select Subcommittee is investigating how the state of New York implemented federal guidance from the U.S. Centers for Medical and Medicaid Services and U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to protect residents in nursing homes and other long-term care facilities. This includes investigation of New York's decision to issue the March 25th, 2020 New York State Department of Health directive entitled Advisory Hospital Discharges and Admissions to Nursing Homes. The March 25 directive mandated nursing homes admit or readmit potentially COVID-19 positive patients while simultaneously prohibiting nursing homes from testing these patients before readmission. Check this out. Viva Frei tweet Cuomo. Let's say murder. Did it have murder in it? No, this is another one. Let's see. Twitter, Cuomo. Nursing. That's what would have it. I'll have to go find them. I remember calling this out thoroughly at the time. Now, this is about his brother. Anyways, it was a big thread. They go down to all the statements that he made that were false. You appreciate that they mandated nursing homes to readmit or admit COVID positive patients coming out of the hospital after they immunized the management. I think, let me make sure I got this one right. Cuomo immunized nursing home management. Let me see here. Nursing home executives. Maybe it was the executives. Let's just go with this. It was like they want us to forget, and I'm never going to forgive. I'm never going to forget. This is from 2021. Cuomo's nursing home fiasco shows the ethical perils of pandemic policymaking. The humbling of the Cuomo on the pandemic has been spectacular and swift. Within days, he was trusted voices, became a political pariah. His decisions first to require nursing homes to accept COVID-19 positive patients when New York's hospitals were overflowing, and then to hide the data about deaths of nursing home residents has engulfed Albany in recent weeks. Court orders, leaks, and investigation revealed that Cuomo dramatically and intentionally understated the pandemic's toll on nursing home residents in New York. Remember, we'll get to it later. They killed people, lots and lots of people, more than needed to meet that fate. And then they tried to hold that number against Donald Trump. I mean, this is Tom McDonald's. They kill you and then they broadcast it and make it the news. Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, the excess deaths or the deaths of nursing home residents, where they said, like, by the end of COVID, by the way, they determined like upwards of 80% of all cases and fatalities revolved around nursing homes. Same thing in Canada, because they were doing the same thing in Canada. They killed people and then they tried to blame it on Trump. There is no greater depth of evil than that on this earth. And you got Chris Cuomo, who's trying to rebrand himself, may have seen the light, who partook in this cover-up with his brother. Maybe some of you say loyalty to your family overrides everything, even the 15,000 deaths in nursing homes that you're responsible for. But they're going after Cuomo now. So may there be justice at some point in time. I don't think there ever will be, but one can hope. Darsmack says, curious, LOL. P.S. Biden was on a Zoom when he made the garbage comment per White House. Who would be on a Zoom call with? Who would he be on a Zoom with during Kamala's speech that late? He was on a Zoom call. I mean, I heard that too, but how did it get out? I mean, were they broadcasting the live? I'm going to look into that. Actually, I want to see who he was on the call with. All right. That is it. And now, because I forgot to do it earlier, people, come on and bring your heinies over to Rumble. Here's the link. No, that's the wrong place. I got to give this link over to CommieTube. Link to Rumble here. Come on over. Or come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And if you're not a supporter, contemplate becoming a supporter so that you can stick around for the after party. I'm going to go here to do that because we're going to end on CommieTube right now. Let me scroll to the bottom and just make sure I didn't miss anything. Viva linked her up. That's me who posted that. I'm just going to check out some of the chat in YouTube before we leave. Bannon is out of the slammer, says Brian Zuhai. Absolutely. We covered that on, I think he was released on Tuesday. What that must feel like. And he's back at it and hammering it home. We're going to talk about the election stuff over on the Rumble side, and not because I'm avoiding YouTube, but because we're going to take our feet, our dollars, our eyeballs where the free speech is. Sushi Yoda says, David, I tagged you in a post on X. A woman just posted on TikTok how she was unable to select Donald Trump while voting in Kentucky. Be very, very careful about what you are putting out there. Let me just show this one. Don't fall for any traps. Fog of war traps. Also, I mean, like literal traps. They're going to try to get people to retweet disinformation so they can then sue them, deplatform them, or otherwise sanction them. So be very careful. I'll go check it out, and I'll check it out, and I'll see what we have to say there. Joe Biden reminds me of the Reverend Henry Kane from Poltergeist. Yeah, read Reverend 3-9 Synagogue of Satan. Okay, I think that was directed at me, but not for me. And that is it. Okay, good. So we're going to end on CommieTube. It'll end on Twitter as well, but come on over to Rumble and or Locals. Viva Frei on Rumble, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. But before you actually do that, I'm an idiot and always forget to share. If you want to get some merch, people, get a shirt. It might be too late to get it before the election, but get it for them after the election. Friends, don't let friends vote Democrat. And then you got your fight and other merch. Okay, that's it. Now we're done. We are heading over to the free speech platforms, Rumble and Locals now.